Grayscale selling pressure of Bitcoin has been the talk of the town in crypto. The money that is in GBTC and is selling is long-term weak. Once the weak hands have been cleaned out, there will be a straight path to much higher prices. Have the weak hands been cleaned out, and are we getting ready to see support, a bounce for Bitcoin? I want to break down the technicals, and I want to bring into play this whole entire narrative, the story of Grayscale, of the Bitcoin ETF. So please hit the subscribe, hit the like. Want to dive in and talk about what I'm watching on these Bitcoin charts, because from a technical analysis perspective, it really doesn't get any more interesting and exciting. The selling pressure is subsiding. This is just coming out today. JP Morgan says profit taking on GBTC has largely concluded, expecting limited further downside for Bitcoin. Bullish. So the question is, this post from the other day, 2 days ago, once the weekends have been cleared out, there will be a straight path to much higher prices. Is that going to happen? Here's the Bitcoin daily chart that I want to talk about. I just want to dissect it. It's very simple data, very simple targets and areas to watch for on the chart right now. And I want to start really quickly with this clip from 4 days ago. Check it out. Bitcoin's not only just throwing back to the trend line to test, and this is where I could be proven wrong. Bitcoin bounces off this trend line and just absolutely explodes to $70,000, right? Proven wrong because, as you all know, we've been tracking Bitcoin on the weekly, hitting the bull market doors, this 618 Fibonacci line. This is an area in previous cycles we've kind of rejected at before the halving, and we just trended down to key moving averages. The 20-week moving average around 36, the 50-week moving average around 30, 31. So this general area have been really just anticipating just a slow consolidation, a healthy consolidation, I would say a bullish consolidation over the coming weeks into halving before getting the bounce through halving, and then the bull market doors being broken. So that's where I'm saying I could be wrong. Now, in dissecting the move, you can actually see Bitcoin so far has, here's the sell-off, right, from Bitcoin and everything that's been happening in the dip off the 618. Bitcoin so far seeing support at this upper trend line. Now, one more clip from just the other day. This was January 23rd. Check this out. So to the downside, pulls back into it before continuing lower. This would be right here, the fake out that I'm trying to anticipate right now, because I know on X, even on YouTube, maybe people get very hype if Bitcoin starts approaching $40,000 even right now, or $41,000 or $42,000. I'd be watching this area of resistance. There's moving averages is a very big deal for me. So these moving averages on the daily now is what we're watching. So we fell below the trend line and we're pulling right back up into these moving averages. And this is it. This is it for me. I am so curious to see how this plays out, because we do have these headlines right now. JP Morgan saying profit taking GBTC is largely concluded. And all of a sudden we have this dynamic once again where everybody's like, it is time to go higher. Right? So we have the technicals and the technical analysis of it saying we are rejected at the 618 line. Here it is on the daily. And we're about to fall even potentially into this rising wedge, right? Just for some shorter term consolidation, midterm consolidation. Or it is different this time. And I don't know if you remember, I did a video recently talking about the 618 line up here acting as this area of new structure, and this upper trend line of the wedge playing into that structure, talking about a speculative ascending triangle. And this would be kind of a case where I was wrong about consolidating further down to the key weekly moving averages that we see here, $35,000 to $30,000. And Bitcoin actually just sees support at this trend line. And we just kind of hobble around in this general area for Bitcoin, and maybe even break through into the bull market doors prior to the halving as we kind of form a potential ascending triangle, right? Now, out of this rising wedge that you see here, this massive rising wedge, we have a $70,000 target. That's in play no matter what happens. But on the short term right now, all that I am watching, truly, I'm so curious to see how this plays out, is this going to be the fake out that we just talked about in the other day in this video, talking about X is getting excited because we're pulling into these moving averages, right? YouTube people getting excited because we're pulling into the moving averages. Even when I see a green candle and we're bouncing off support, I get excited. I get very interested to see, can we get a bullish confirmation? But that's just it. I'm sitting here right now waiting for the bullish confirmation. We have the 20-day average, moving average crossing below the 50. And we know in instances like this, even the opposite, the inverse, when the 20 crosses above, we have these pullbacks to the general area. So right now we might be having that pullback to the general area where we might see resistance. I'm waiting to see what happens. If Bitcoin can pull into these moving averages, the 20-day moving average around 42,600, the 50-day around 43,000, that area right there, just above where Bitcoin is, what happens? Maybe the moving averages pull into Bitcoin. What happens for Bitcoin? Can Bitcoin start closing daily candles above that area? I enjoy these narratives. GBTC, the sell-off, the profit-taking largely concluded. It's up only. But at the same time, for my own emotional perspective, my mindset, my mental perspective in these markets, I have to just put aside headlines and watch the technical analysis of it all. And this is where it is. If Bitcoin starts closing a daily candle, closes a daily candle, gets separation above these moving averages, that's when I think we can say, you know what? We have something here. And then at that point, if we're closing above these moving averages around, let's just call it 43,000, a daily candle above that area, then all eyes are on the 618 area once again. That long-term bull market door resistance around $48,000 as that next target to the upside. Can the Bitcoin ETF narrative come back into play? That dynamic come into play and truly make things different this time? That's a question on my mind. But at the same time, I'm just cautious. I have no idea what's going to happen. I'm not sitting here throwing predictions. I know what I think might happen, and that is just to say we repeat what has happened in cycles past, and all that has simply been is rejection at 618 areas, at the Fibonacci bull market doors, prior to Bitcoin halvings, and it has happened time and time again. And I would say the 2016 move, as you know, at the 618 line, very similar to what's happening now, pulling into the moving averages. So would love for it to be different this time. I'm just cautiously watching the data and analyzing. Look at this weekly chart. One thing just to note, 2 days, 9 hours left. Look at this candle. It has some potential to be an absolute bullish reversal type of candle. If this can turn green, would be absolutely insane. Part of this turning green could be the story of Bitcoin testing these moving averages up here in the $42,000, $43,000 area. You can go over to the weekly candle over here and just kind of get a sense of where that is, 42, 43. This would be an insanely bullish green candle if Bitcoin can make its way up to that area. And then we'll be monitoring once again, can the 618 be tested prior to the Bitcoin halving? This is what I'm watching, everybody. It's exciting. It's fun. Either way, on the macro, you zoom out on the Bitcoin charts, the crypto charts, things are getting so exciting in terms of the bull market approaching, the halving approaching, all the bullish narratives that are in play right now for all of crypto. So let me know your thoughts in the comments, everybody. Hit the subscribe, hit the like. Be careful out there. I'll see you in the next video. God bless.